It's good feelings. Good feelings. After the game, we look at each other, start laughing. That cha. You know what I'm talking, Harry? That's that's the team we were.
Richmond shoots! Richmond shoots again! And Richard Brodeur has got the puck!
Forward, Danny.
He still plays on weekends, but for the most part, his competitive playing days are over. These days, Richard Brodeur gets more of a kick out of watching his son, Daniel, play. Rimouski, Quebec, about a 3-hour drive northeast of Quebec City. Population is around 35,000. And this is where the king has his castle. Vancouver is a long way away, but it's not forgotten.
The best time I had in my life was in Vancouver. Playing hockey in Vancouver. My family loved it there. I loved it there and had great times playing hockey there. And I never forget the Griffiths to get me over there.
We can talk about how well everybody played and the defensemen blocked shots and overtime goals, but it was Richard Brodeur, if there was any one reason. It was, he was it.
The name of King Richard, I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved it because people choose that name. The fans gave me that name. It wasn't a media hype. It was the people giving me that, because they show me their love with that.
King Richard will help us win the cup. King Richard gonna take us to the top.
Do you remember that song?
No, well, King Richard. The thing is, the funny thing is, my son's got the record. He played it, 3 weeks ago. Started laughing. Turn that off, please. But that was great. You know what great memories? Yeah. That was crazy that year. It comes with the territory. I mean, that's it. But the thing, I never thought about myself being the one man that took the team there with the whole bunch together. I mean, you got to live that once in your life. I did. I hope I have something else, not hockey. No need anymore. I can't do it. But these are special things, special moments.
The 1981-82 Vancouver Canucks were average. They were a great team at home, pathetic on the road. They finished the season 3 games below 500. Nothing special, not a real threat as the playoffs began.
I'd say one thing, we weren't expected to go that far. We were getting the groove that everything was going our way. We got very confident about our game.
One of the last games of that regular season in Quebec, the coach, Harry Neal, got into a brawl in the stands. He was suspended for 10 games. Roger Nielsen took over behind the bench, and the team took off.
That's right. He said we'd won about 10 in a row or something. He said, geez, he said, I knew you were good. He said, I didn't know you were this good. Well, that was typical Harry. You know, he was pretty good.
Sometimes stuff like that brings a team together. Here we were in Quebec City. We're playing pretty well, and something happened up in the stands. The next thing we know, Harry Neal's up there fighting, a few of the other players up there fighting, and stuff like that at times can bring you closer together. You know, because we showed that, hey, we're sticking together through all this.
Roger took over, and you know, Roger had us prepared for every series. There was no surprises. Every series that we played, we were well prepared. We had booklets given to us about the team, on their power play, on their penalty killing, on individual players, on their strengths, on their weaknesses. And he expected us to, read them and be prepared. So when we played these games, we knew exactly what the opposition was doing.
And what the Canucks were doing was winning. No doubt about it, they got on a real roll.
We had a team that was very, very close. We had guys that would stick up for each other. And I remember that playoffs as being almost every game was a war, a battle. And we were prepared to do whatever it took for each other and obviously for the cause of winning. And we were fairly successful at it.
Chicago Stadium, Game 1 of the Campbell Conference Finals.
Whenever you play in the stadium in Chicago, which is so loud, it was loud right from the start and right to the end, and it was probably one of the most exciting games that I've been in.
And it was exciting. Goals were at a premium. Thomas Gradin scored for Vancouver. Terry Ruskowski replied for Chicago, and that was it, because Richard Brodeur made 47 stops the rest of the way. At the other end, Tony Esposito made 41. It went to double overtime when it was finally decided by a guy whose main role was as a checker.
Well, it was just a great moment for all of us. Actually, I was just down Peoria and I saw Harold Snaps, and we were talking about it again because it was Harold that let the rocket go from the blue line, and I got the rebound. Esposito let the rebound out, and I was just in the slot and tucked it in, and it was just a great game.
The series at that time could have gone either way. If Chicago wins that game, wow, it's all even, and who knows who's going to win it. And that one, winning in Chicago, second overtime, it punctured Chicago's tires.
The Vancouver Canucks knock off the Chicago Blackhawks 6-2. And naturally, they mob their diminutive goaltender, Richard Brodeur.
10 years later, in one of those former Canucks, Darcy Rhoda works at the NHL offices in New York as a special assistant to the president, John Ziegler. And he probably summed it up the best, how most of those players look back on that drive to the finals.
The thing I take most of all is that in '82, we were a very special team. That it was a character team that really cared for one another. And I try to take that characteristic throughout my life. To this day here, my job here with the National Hockey League is that we're a team here, and to be successful, you have to have a strong feeling and a care for each other.
Everybody told you, you're not going to win the first round. We did. Everybody said, you're not going to win the second round. We did. You can't beat Chicago in the stadium. We did. Well, we hit the big wall against the Islanders, but, I mean, we did try, though. We didn't care. We went there, and we did try.
The New York Islanders, one of the greatest dynasties of the NHL's modern era. You could go all the way down their lineup and see great players, but there was one who stood above the rest.
Number 22 from the Islanders.
I guess if I said the two words painful memory, one
Mike Bossy. I laugh about it right now because that's the only way I can get rid of the pain. And every time my friends, if I get a little cocky, anytime my friends want to shut me up, all they have to say is Mike Bossy, and I have no comeback.
Today, Harold is the head coach of the Peoria Rivermen, the farm club of the St. Louis Blues. It's 10 years later, and it still hurts for him to think back to Game 1 of that Stanley Cup Final. It hurts so much because the Canucks could have won it. A group of underdogs pushing the defending Stanley Cup champs to the wall, in a position to win it, until Mike Bossy took over. Late in the game, a collision in front of the net, and there was Bossy to tie it up at 5, sending it to overtime, Still, the Canucks refused to back down. They fought for 19 minutes and 58 seconds into the extra period. There were 2 seconds left when Sneps made the mistake.
Brian Trottier was behind me, and the worst thing I thought that could happen is him hooking me from behind, grabbing the puck and putting it in the net. So I thought I would just shoot it out. I didn't get all of it. Mike Bossy intercepted it, boom, it was in the net, and the nightmare started.
We basically left them alone for about 3 hours. We were staying away from Long Island. We were staying about an hour away at a place beside the beach, and Harold basically got off the bus and went to the beach by himself. We made sure there was a couple guys watching him wherever he was going, but he was basically left alone, and he handled it very well. Next day he came back and basically parked it, put it in the back of his mind, and there were some more games to play.
Well, I appreciate the fans getting behind me, especially after I felt so low after that play, and coming off the airplane, going to the bus in Vancouver and getting the nice reception from the people.
Souvenir towels. Have you got a towel for the game? You can't go to the game without a towel.
But the reality was, by the time the Canucks got home down 2-0, they knew just how good this Islander team was. In fact, they could only get one more goal past Billy Smith, and that wasn't until Game 4.
I was glad for us to get a goal for the fans in Vancouver because they were very special. Of course, the white towels. I mean, each day brought something special throughout that playoffs.
There's probably some players out there that won scoring championships and stuff but never got a chance to go to the finals, and I know they would give up that scoring title to have a chance to go to the finals and to win it, you know. And not like you say, we were denied, but it was great to be there, but still it would have been great to win it.
So up to now, we've talked about the players, their opposition, the coaching, but we've saved the best and definitely the most important to last, the fans. You see, 1982 wasn't really a great year. There was a recession going on. There wasn't much to cheer about. We all really needed something like this. The players were great, don't get me wrong. We'll always remember them, but enough about them. Here's to you, the fans.
It didn't hit me until July and August of that summer, what we did and what we accomplished and how close we were, and of course, what if, you know, if we could have won the first game. The second game in Long Island, we had the lead too, and I think we had a 2-goal lead, and basically broke down. And then the third game back here, that was the best I've ever seen the Islanders play. They basically dominated us.
And it went into the record books as a 4-game sweep for New York. The party seemed to be officially over. Wrong.
Here at Sunset Beach, the crowd simply went wild as the Canucks arrived. Over 5,000 fans cheered and sang as their heroes, bathed in the glory heaped on them, were coming in second.
Oh, fantastic. Just unbelievable. Something I'll remember the rest of my life, and we really appreciate the support the fans, the people in Vancouver have given us.
You know, looking back, I sometimes wonder, you know, winning the Stanley Cup is what it's all about. But I wonder how much more reaction would the fans in Vancouver and throughout British Columbia given the Canucks, because I can't think they could give us more support. It was just unbelievable at the time.
We don't deserve all this. I mean, we never won anything. These people have just been, it's just incredible. It's
geez, I think we'd be taking our life in our own hands if we ever win anything.
Our fans scored a goal and a half for us per game in 1982. There's no doubt about that.
I will never forget the reception that we received after that second game. We were down 2-0, and the people lined up at the airport. And it was very moving for a lot of the players because they hadn't experienced that before.
Did you think you had this many fans?
Well, no, I didn't really. It's just been fantastic all through the playoffs.
We got off the plane, got in our bus, and all of a sudden we start driving on the main drag from the airport, and the bus can't move. It took us, I think it took us 2 hours to get to the rink from the airport. It was just like, wow, what? This is unbelievable.
Today, Roger Nielsen is the coach of the New York Rangers, and 10 years after, he has a good chance of making it back to the Stanley Cup Finals this season. He's still got his trusty old dog Mike by his side, and he still remembers Vancouver and our Canuck fever.
I can remember a pilot telling me that he'd fly planes into Vancouver. I don't know where his route was from, Calgary or someplace. But on nights when there were games, there were no cars on the street. You looked down and it was almost like a ghost town. So that during the games, everyone was either at the game or watching it, and the city really did get caught up in it. You know, and still today, you know, you go around the league and even here at the Canuck games and you hear the song Na 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 Na. I mean, the Vancouver fans started that. So every time I hear that, I think about these fans that were here and supported us during the whole time. And it's something that a lot of guys might not ever get a chance to taste, and if you ever do, it's with you a long time.